Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome award-winning, multi-platinum country music icon and star of the upcoming Fox series Monarch, Trace Adkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Industries across the board utilize fleet trucks on a daily basis, from your local utility company to your grocery store, and many of these companies choose full-service fleet leasing. With a traditional lease, you're responsible for everything after you get the truck, but a full-service lease includes all the maintenance and other services at a set cost. Regardless of the scope or range of your fleet needs, TranService will engineer a fully customized, full-service fleet leasing solution optimized to your requirements. From asset acquisition requiring no capital investment, to the engineering, configuration, and selection of your fleet equipment, to the people, facilities, and equipment to keep your fleet maintained and repaired. TranService gives you everything you need, with advantageous fleet pricing based on our national account status, compliance expertise, inspections, licensing, permitting, personal property taxes, nationwide roadside service. We cover it all for you. Contact us today to learn why leading companies rely on TranService for complete turnkey leasing solutions.
The following is an All-Star 15 TV production.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to All-Star 15 TV. On the broadcast tonight, it is the Sim500 TranService Truck Series from Chicagoland Speedway. It's playoff time, baby. It's race 2 of the playoffs here, and as you guys have seen in the ticker, everybody in yellow, those are your playoff drivers. Everybody in transparent, those unfortunately are not your playoff drivers, but we have 2 non-playoff drivers. We have Seth Foudy and Stoney Benningfield in that top 10 just in practice alone. But before we go any further, with just about 3 minutes left in practice, let's talk to the wonderful people in this broadcasting booth with me. First off, it's Mr. Crew Chief and currently getting ready for the Daytona 24 with Hush Sport Racing. It's Gary Wells.
Hey, AJ. Good to be here in the booth with you again tonight here. Chicagoland, man. One of my favorite racetracks. And yes, AJ, this is where we can say we're in Speedway, Illinois. Even though we're not in Speedway, Illinois, we're in Joliet, Illinois. Going to be a fun one here tonight. I'm really looking forward to this race. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I very much knew that was coming, especially since we're actually at a track in Illinois now. But if everybody remembers that, go to the end of the Indianapolis. Was it the Indianapolis race? No, it was the one before that.
No, it was Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
The one before it, yeah.
Yeah, that happens. But let's talk to the one and only Mike Campiggio. Mike, how's the schoolwork going, and how is preparing for this broadcast going?
Well, AJ, I'm looking forward to spending a couple hours with you guys in the booth here at Chicagoland Speedway, my home track. So, schoolwork's been going well. Got a lot of stuff going on with that, and looking forward to spending a couple hours with you guys in the booth.
In Speedway, Illinois?
Yes, sir. Speedway, Illinois.
Here, that's just nail coffin. But hey, huge shout out to Gavin on YouTube. We are only 5 people away from hitting 400 subscribers. Thank you to everybody who has hit that subscribe button, but share out the stream. We got plenty of racing to go. Thanks, John Fowler on Facebook, for sharing out the stream as well. Gary, we always love this segment because you, I think, out of Mike and myself, obviously out of me, Mike might be able to give you a run here. Let's go through the tale of the tape here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, so what's been great here about Chicagoland, 2 years in a row now, we're going for 3 caution-free races here at Chicagoland Speedway. Gone caution-free for 120 laps. Been some really good racing. It's been also kind of a battle of attrition as well, because the guy that's led the most laps hasn't won the race ever here at Chicagoland, at least in the last 3. So the most caution-filled race was back in 2020 out of these 3, with 2 whole cautions for 150 during that 115-lap event. It was 2 cautions for 10 laps. Also the most competitive with the most lead changes at 21 and most leaders at 14. So I would expect somewhere along the lines of the last 3 years, if they do go caution-free, anywhere from 4 to 6 leaders and about 10 lead changes roughly. But I think really the main thing to be focusing on is you can win from anywhere in this field. The guy that has won the race last year, Daniel Falkingham, started from the pole, won the race, led 23 laps. Then he also won it the year before in 21, started from 25th. And Brian Day, when he won here in 2020, started from 18th. So you can win from just about anywhere in this field. So as long as you're in the race, you got a shot.
That's what it looks like. Barbara already in that YouTube chat. Go Stoney, the faster pastor. Gonna see him hit some laps momentarily. But Mike Kelly already out on that racetrack. It's go time for some of these drivers. That's a good looking car. Or truck, I'm sorry. Got Joe watching. Gonna bust our stones for calling him. Oh, that's good.
He's not watching. He is probably eating a steak somewhere right now. He was telling me about that earlier.
That sounds good. That sounds really good. As Gary, what's gonna happen around qualifying here? What's the preferred line?
Well, I think what we're seeing right now from Mike Kelly is getting up to speed and probably your first time lap. You're going to want to get all the momentum that you can out of the truck. So you're going to be running that high side. And then that second lap, as you see Mike Kelly right here, doing exactly what I would do. Hugging that white line, cutting distance off the lap, trying to get the fastest time you can get. And we're going to see a lot of these guys coming off of turn 4, coming out pretty low, and then just heading straight for that apron all the way till they hit the start-finish line. You could do that here at Chicagoland. There's no out-of-bounds lanes, so as we're seeing here with Mike Kelly, going right down to the apron through the tri-oval, and that is going to put him first on the board right now with a 31-17.
Are you live? Because he's going across the start-finish line now to complete his qualifying.
I was kind of looking at your stream. I'm sorry.
Oh! Okay, I forgot to do something. That was Gary's way of saying, "Hey AJ, share your screen."
I was politely saying it in the chat, but
you couldn't see it. Anyways, so yeah, we're 5 seconds behind, folks. I'm sorry. Here we go.
You're good.
That's
You're
funny.
good now.
All right. So where were
Seth
we?
Foddy, non-playoff driver, P1 right now.
That's a speedy lap for him there, a 31.066. We might see someone try to break into that 30-second bracket. Just kind of depends. I know we're kind of running a little bit of a hotter track tip today at 122 degrees. So we might see a 20. We might see a 30. We might not. We'll just have to see. And Hamish Gallagher there running a 31.11. So he's putting in a good lap time there as well, and that was his second lap. Seems like everybody so far, AJ, has hit their money lap on the second lap.
That's what it's looking like, and coming to complete their first lap. Mike, I know how much you like this race car, or race truck. You picked him.
I did pick Scott Simley, and yes, he's running the throwback Ace Shock Chase Elliott paint scheme this week. Pretty cool paint scheme on this truck, and looking for big things out of Scott. He was fast in practice. He was in the top 10 in practice, so hopefully that will translate over to the race.
Yeah, and Simley's been one of those guys that have been consistent week in and week out. It seems like every time that we find him, he's usually in the top 10 and try to find himself in the top 5 later on by the end of the race.
There it is, P5.
P5 there with the 31.13. Really good lap right there for Scott. And who you got? You got Macklin here, Brian Macklin.
Yeah, that would be my pick.
We might need to start calling him the Rocket Man, because he's been really fast in qualifying, and he's going to lay down a 31.12 there.
Go P5 and bump Scott Simley out of the top 5.
Yep, sure does.
EJ O'Rourke to finish qualifying.
I was just getting ready to go over to him.
And he's going to bump Brian Macklin out of the top 5.
I was going to say, Gary's making us look like he's like a genius with his pick tonight so far.
Hey, Gary, who'd you pick?
I picked Seth Foudy, the professional pole sitter right now.
Hey, yo, whoa. Was this before qualifying?
This was before qualifying.
All right, whatever magic ball you have, please let me know what the Powerball numbers are.
It's go back to work.
Oh, okay, just checking. I felt that. Ow.
I don't think I can predict those for you. Well, I mean, with Seth, we've seen him at times at some of these mile and a halves this year put on a really good qualifying performance, and even into the race some. So it's going to be a good one. From 1st to 21st, the guys that have laid down a lap here tonight, AJ, we're separated by 0.6 of a second. So really, really competitive field here tonight. It's gonna be a fun race. Chicagoland, I've noticed over the last few league races that I've watched, it's a very racy track here in the trucks now. We've got guys running the white line all the way up to the fence, but part of the keys to victory night, saving your tires. You can run the fence, but it can eat up your tires really quick. So you're really going to have to watch how you manage your race and how often you're going to run up in that high lane. Driver choice. This track has multiple options for lanes and for racing here. And then keeping the truck clean. It seems like turn 2 seems to be a tricky spot for that Chicagoland stripe. And same thing with turn 4. So if these guys can keep the truck on, keep all 4 fenders on this race truck, and managing your stuff, you're going to be in a prime spot. to win this race, because we've seen here a couple of guys started outside the top 20 or in around that 18th to 25th position. As long as you got the track position at the right time, you're going to be in really good shape to win this thing.
Yeah, and just to go over our picks again, Gary, Seth Foddy, myself, Brian Macklin, and Mike Campigio, Scott Simley. So P1, P6, and P7, and it's time to run through our starting lineup from Chicagoland Speedway. On pole, it's the driver of the number 15 Toyota Tundra, Seth Foddy. Outside pole, it's the 19 of Tyler Dalton. In row 2, you have Nelson Rivera and Hamish Gallagher. Row 3, EJ O'Rourke and Brian Macklin. I'm fixing the... There it is. In row 4, Scott Simley and Pedro Mojica. And row 5, Mike Kelly and Wesley Donaldson. Gary, take us the rest of the way to 20.
All right. In P11, we've got John Schweikart. And 12th, we've got Robert Frieri. And 13th, we've got Tommy Ryan. 14th, in that 14 truck is Joey Katina. 15th, we've got Bobby Wetzel. 16th is Chad Coleman. 17th is going to be Kevin Stone. 18th is Mike Montesi. 19th is going to be Stoney Benfield. And rounding up that top 20 is going to be Jeff Ryan. Capigio, take us home.
And 21st, you have Joe Hudson. And 22nd is Josh Parker. And 23rd is John Fowler. And 24th is Doug Sigmund. And 25th is Brian Wertman. And in 26th, last place on the grid, Gerald Livingston.
All right, everybody, that is your starting lineup from Chicagoland Speedway. It's a Sim500 TranService Truck Series live on All-Star 15 TV. Everybody in yellow on our ticker, those are your playoff drivers. And look at that, our pole sitter tonight, a non-playoff driver. Can he spoil it for anybody in the playoffs? Actually, from second all the way to 13th are playoff drivers. Wow. But that pace car, Ford Mustang iRacing official pace car, is going to take that left-handed turn down pit road. And we are... green at Chicagoland Speedway.
Look at the jump EJ was able to get there on that start, getting on the back bumper of the 22 of Nelson Rivera. Tyler Dalton going to be able to take an early lead as they head down to turn number 1.
Gary, you mentioned it. It's been very racy as of late. The last couple updates have really updated how competitive this track is. Also, with help of the vehicles we are running, as Hamish Gallagher is going to go to the extreme outside.
Yeah, he went to the outside there right away. I think we're going to see a lot of trucks running up in that third lane. It could be pretty good on the long run to help save your tires a little bit, but we're going to see these guys running right next to that white line in that middle lane where Seth Foudy's at probably most of the race here.
Now, I got to give a huge shout out to you, pal. I know it's early, and I know I told you I was going to bring it up, but way to come home with a top 10 finish last night here at Chicagoland in your league race.
Yeah, ran the Xfinity car last night, so that car has a little bit more horsepower than what these trucks have. But yeah, absolutely botched my qualifying run. Managed to hit the bumps just wrong on both qualifying laps at 2 different ends of the racetrack. So got the Hard Charger Award, gained 10 spots, and started 17th, finished 7th, so I'll definitely take it. But last night, in that Xfinity car, I was able to run in that third lane, in that second lane for most of the race. It seemed to be pretty good, but what I'm seeing with the more downforce these guys get, a lot of these guys are still running around that white line.
Look at this battle up front, Gary. EJ O'Rourke, Hamish Gallagher, side by side the last 2 laps.
Yeah, and these
They're
guys,
not gonna want to
we
do that
know
for
they
very
always
long.
put on a hell of a show, so you can't count either of these guys out. Nelson here running really great as of late, as you see here, battling for that second spot with EJ, and South Valley not too far behind.
Well, let's bring it up while we see all this great racing right now. It's the point standings Your top 10 are going to move on after next week's race, but right now, -1 is Kevin Stone, -3 is Pedro Mojica, Chad Coleman, -5, also the 91 of Wesley Donaldson, -5, -10, Robert Fieri, John Swinehart, -10, Tyler Dalton, -11, Richard Suavely, -32. Suavely is, I would assume, in a must-win situation, but I don't actually think he's here.
No, he's not here. I do not see him.
Yeah, he's not here in this race tonight. And honestly, I really look at it this way too, gentlemen. Your top 2, maybe your top 3 right there, top 4, those guys that are at least 15 above the cut line. If those guys can finish out the race strong here tonight, they're going to be the ones that are going to be locked in going into next week, I think, by points. I don't think they're going to need really any spectacular runs to happen. As long as they finish this week really good and then just start next week, I think they'll easily make it to that round of 10. So going to be interesting seeing these guys here getting after it all night long. As we're seeing still a lot of 3-wide racing around here. May not be inside this top 5, but definitely inside the top 10.
Yeah, that's a lot of our playoff. Yes, 4 wide. That's a lot of our playoff drivers too that we were just talking about. A lot of the playoff drivers here are 3 and 4 wide with each other back here in the pack.
Well, and we haven't really talked about it much, but you know, we always have those 1 or 2 wild card races playing into effect. Definitely saw it last week at Talladega, but I think this could definitely be another one with how racy this track is. You kind of put yourself into some questionable spots running 3 and 4 wide around this place.
They kind of calmed down just a little bit. They're not 4 wide right now, but you have the 58 of Mojica underneath the 14 of Gatina. Gatina with the good run off of turn 4. Is he gonna get that position this lap?
I
I
believe
think
he
it gave
did.
it to him. I think it gave it to him over Pedro Mojica. But Gary, to your credit, you know, middle lane, not all the way to the bottom, not all the way to the top. And that 14 is definitely moving up 3 positions in just the first 9 laps.
Yeah, he's really been able to make it work, and when he's able to get down to that bottom, it works just as well for him. But he's a little loose right there. Nice save there by the boss man of the 14 machine there. But usually these guys, if they can get that bottom to work, they're going to make it work. If not, you're definitely going to run a lane up. There's a lot of bumps down there in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 around that bottom of that racetrack, so you really can't run down there for long. It's just not going to handle down there the entire run like it used to. So you really are going to be moving up a lane or 2 as the run goes.
Well, Gary, what are we looking at for a track temperature for these drivers tonight? I know you mentioned it earlier before we went racing, but it just looks hot and slick on that Chicagoland asphalt.
Yeah, so we got about an 80-degree ambient temperature, and the track temp is 123 degrees. So it's actually gone up a couple of degrees since we had qualifying. So these guys are going to be slipping and sliding around the longer we go. You're definitely going to see some tire degradation and fall off here tonight as far as that goes, which will be causing these guys to find that grip that they need to get around the racetrack as fast as they possibly can. Fuel window's about 50-ish laps, 55 laps, somewhere around in there, your typical 1.5 miles. So definitely 1 pit stop, but we might see somebody try to make this in thirds here just because of the tire advantage that you do get here at Chicagoland.
Oh, and Nelson Rivera is jumping to the inside again of Seth Fowdy. Seth Fowdy just took the lead a couple laps ago, but now we have a battle for the lead with Rivera into turn 3.
Yeah, he's going to really overshoot the turn, entering turn 3. Going to try to come up in front of Seth Foddy. Can't make it happen as they're going to cross the line side by side.
Yeah, but Nelson was able to lead that lap by 45 1/1000ths of a second. So good on Nelson right there, making it happen. And he's been running that bottom lane there, is what we call Harvick back in the day.
Had to catch it a little bit there.
Yeah, had to catch it a little bit there. And then Seth just has an amazing run on the exit of turn 2 right there, which if you could run that top lane just right, you have to back out just a little bit to get that truck to rotate in the corner. But once you feel it rotate, you could get right back into the gas. Sorry about that clap there. And you can make these straightaways a lot longer. The straighter you can make your exit, the faster you're going to be.
Gonna jump back a little bit further. Tyler Dalton, EJ O'Rourke, That's for 4th place, as Dalton's really trying to work on that inside, just like how Nelson Rivera is. But they have a very long gap. You know, Mike Kelly behind them, Scott Simley right behind them. But then you have 2.5 seconds back to John Swinehart, Robert Fieri, and the whole gang back here. Donaldson, Macklin, Mojica. They're under a blanket from, it looks like, 8th all the way to 14th, all under a blanket.
Yeah, you could arguably say all the way back to like 20th almost. These guys right here, 8 to, yeah, basically the rest of the field, it feels like, all scattered right under here. And Mike, you could attest to this. I mean, in these trucks, you cannot be behind somebody in the quarter. You're going to be dealing with a lot of aero push because of the big hole that these trucks push in the air. How do you try to approach each corner? I mean, obviously everybody's looking for clean air. That's why we're seeing all these guys scatter.
Yeah, it's just really you want to try to enter with somebody not in front of you, because if you do enter with somebody right in front of you, it's just the aero push is going to be too much. But in a pack like this, how these guys are running and how everybody's scattering out in the corners, it's just so much harder just because there's so much air going around from the front of this pack to the back of this pack. You're kind of just stuck. And these guys are running extremely hard too, and they're not saving any tire either.
Yeah, they're running extremely hard but extremely clean. But yeah, to your point, they're really burning their tires up. That is for sure.
I don't know if the 14 of Gatina is saving his tires or there's something wrong, but in the last 6 laps, he's gone from that 14th position and dropped all the way to 18th, and in just a little bit, it's going to be 19th.
Yeah, I think he uses a little bit too much of the tires there to start, because I think he was getting right up there to that 10th to 12th position, and then now it just seems like he's fallen like a rock. Kind of what happened to me in the truck series on Monday night. I was running really good, got it to about 7th or 8th, and then about this time in the run at Swift, my truck just took a nosedive. It was not... I used up all my tires, and I just started dropping like a rock to about 18th or 20th by the time pit stops happened. And once you lose that track position, especially early on in a league like this, it is really, really hard to get that track position back.
Yeah, absolutely. All your playoff drivers, all 18 of them, or 17 of them, because we are missing Richard Suavely, are within the 20th position marks. But you have main spoiler number 1, and that's Seth Foddy's. He's trying to hold off the 13 of Hamish Gallagher. It seems like every couple laps, it's a different player to try to contest with Seth Foddy. You know, you had O'Rourke, you had Rivera, you had, and now it's Hamish Gallagher as he's going to cut to the inside. And that 15 has just been so strong rim riding at Chicagoland so far.
He's not quite ripping the boards, as Parker Kligerman says, but he's getting pretty close to it. I mean, he's right up there on that higher lane of 1 and 2. He seems to be liking that bottom a lot better in 3 and 4. The bottom of the racetrack there seems to work best for him. And that's where I've talked about time and time again. You'll hear me say it all night long. Options. These drivers have options everywhere they go. And that really could put on an exciting racing product. Ooh, as the 15 had to steer to the right there a little bit. Saw that.
Should the tires already be starting to go? Just 21 laps in?
Well, I mean, we are 21 laps in, and your fuel window is about 50 laps, 50 to 55 laps. So, I mean, we're right there is where, you know, the truck isn't handling as good as it was 20 laps ago. And, I mean, they've fallen off lap time-wise. I'm looking here at Seth's laps, and...
about a second and a half.
Yeah, his fastest lap was a 31:39, and his last lap that he ran was a 32:92. So, I mean, we're getting right down there to almost 2 seconds of fall off here, which for these trucks, it is quite a bit.
91 of Wesley Donaldson trying to get by the 01 of Swinehart, as Fury, who I think is outside of everybody, both sides of the track so far, has been not like what you said, rim riding yet, but getting up there at least and getting those really good runs down the back and front stretch.
Yeah, he's really been able to... Oh, as the 01 got loose there on the exit of 2.
That's going
Yeah,
to allow
he's still
Pedro.
catching it.
That's going to allow Pedro Mojica to get into the inside of Russell Donaldson.
Yeah, Wes just had it completely back out of the throttle so he wouldn't run that 01 truck over. So he paid it for it that lap.
91 the wall. Tagged the wall out of 4.
Yeah, everybody's been getting really, really close to that wall. You think you got a lot of room up there at the exit of these corners, and that wall will jump out and get you.
And it looks like
Let's
we
say
have
it
our
gets tight fast.
looks like we have our first retiree of the night too. John Fowler has left the race.
Yeah, he left a little while ago. He's been gone for a little bit.
Look at the 99 of Tommy Ryan.
Different paint
And the
scheme this week.
Megadeth.
Yeah,
Megadeth.
that looks pretty cool if you ask me.
I dig it.
Looks a little deadly.
Yes.
But your top 3 right now, Foudy, O'Rourke, and Gallagher, and they are pulling away from Tyler Dalton and Mike Kelly. That's your top 5. In 6th, Scott Simley, Nelson Riveros, John Swinehart, Robert Fury, and Pedro Mojica rounding out your top
Trouble
10.
turn 4. Oh, Swikart saved it. He's in the grass, and he's back up on the straightaway, but he got really loose off turn 4. I thought he was going to spin it, but he did a great job in saving that.
Mike, I love that you do that, but I almost jump out of wow.
That's why I jumped.
Almost jumped out the ceiling. I ain't gonna lie.
That's why I jumped out of my chair
What
here,
a
folks.
save.
Yeah, that was a really good save there by that 01 truck of John Schweikart there. Really good driving by him.
I think we gotta check his in car and watch his hands. He's already trying to catch it.
Oh, my goodness.
Agricultural racing there by the 01 machine a little bit to keep that truck going.
Swinehart's Lawn Mowing Services. Wow, what a catch. That could have been disastrous if it continued spinning to the right.
And that's why my voice jumped up. Sorry for the folks at home if I scared you.
Oh, it's not just the folks at home, pal.
It's the Dale Jr. effect, okay?
Well, you could really say it's the Benny Parsons effect because he started it first.
He did, yes.
Rest in peace to Benny Parsons.
So your biggest mover of the race so far, you have to go all the way back to the 14th position. It's the number 3 of Jeff Ryan. Started 20th, plus 6 to 14th.
Yeah, and that Bass Pro Shops Chevrolet there getting a really solid run so far. And we normally see Jeff run around this area here. He seems to be also be able to sneak his way into the top 10 a few times. So good run for Jeff so far. I think once we get some pit stops, he's usually pretty good at his pit laps. So if he can make up a lot of time on pit road and this first set of pit stops coming up here in about 20 laps, he'll be in really good shape.
Well, that's one thing we've noticed with Jeff and even Tommy as well. You know, they might not start the race very well, but with every pit stop, they get a little bit further up the running order and further up the running order, and then next thing you know, they're in the top 10, if not the top 5.
Yeah, as long as Jeff doesn't have any bad luck of his own or not of his own doing, he's usually right up here in the top 10 with these guys. I've noticed the last couple weeks though, he's had some incidents and has kind of ruined his race. But tonight he's put on a solid showing so far. And another guy I wasn't expected to be back here, but he's back here kind of with a little bit of a slump the last few weeks is Chad Coleman. Only running here in the 15th spot, only up 1 spot since the start of this race. So he's definitely a guy that I kind of expected to be running a little bit further up the running order too in that number 38 Ford.
And there's the 38 Jim Beam Ford F-150 of Chad Coleman you were mentioning. You know, he's still in plus territory, up 1 from where he started, but he's got a lot of work to do. It looks like he is really, really fighting that racing truck.
Oh, yeah. And this track can be a struggle to get around.
Oh, wow. Sorry, Pedro Mojica just cleared himself right there. Wow, that was. I
Well,
thought
he's
he
got
was.
a little bit of left rear damage, so I bet that's where the clearing himself came from, right?
That was wild right there off turn 2.
Ooh, yep, there's the left rear
Yep, there
damage.
it
That's
is.
where it came from.
I thought that was gonna be a wreck.
And not clear, not clear, not. Well, you're clear now.
Well, you cleared yourself, so there you go. Oh,
If
the 30 and the
that's-
77 right there side by side. I don't know if it was a replay, but that was
if
a little
that's
close.
if that's later in the race, I do not think Fieri maybe lets off the gas.
Yeah, I think Fury will probably run him over. I think we'll see that. I mean,
And that's
Nelson
putting it
wasn't
nicely.
ashamed to admit it last week for the win, dumping the 99 last week at Talladega. So, I mean, you got to do what you got to do at the end of these races to get your track position.
And Mojica starting to pull away just a little bit from, some of the chaos behind. As I say that, here comes Macklin. It's like I should think about what I'm going to say and then not say it, because then it's going to completely be the opposite. Ooh, Tommy Ryan in the 99, looking at that at high side. He's seen it work with multiple drivers, and he really went to that high lane.
It looks like EJ O'Rourke is inside of our leader, Seth Foudy, here off turn number 4. EJ's looking to see if he can get past for the lead. He's going to slide back in here going into turn 1.
Oh, he brought friends.
He did bring
Gallagher
friends.
and Dalton.
Yeah, he's got a lot of friends. I tell you what, this Seth Foudy, it seems like no matter what lane he runs in, he's been able to make it work. High, low, in the middle. I mean, he's really been able to defend these guys off pretty well. We were noticing last night, and I say we, but I'm talking about Southern Havoc Gaming, who's watching us, Mike Robinson here. He was talking about how, the Xfinity race last night, we're seeing the same kind of trends so far in this truck race, but it seemed like the bottom worked good for about 5 to 10 laps. Then you had to go back up to the top, and then toward the end of the fuel run, you could go back down to the middle of the racetrack and not run so high. And I think we're starting to see that pendulum swing back toward that other way as we're seeing EJ O'Rourke trying to contend for this lead here, where we'll start to see the bottom start to play another factor in it again. I'm not sure what takes that into effect. I don't know if it's the tire wear. I don't know if it's the car lightening up or the truck lightening up on the fuel load, but you're really going to start to see these guys start to migrate back toward the bottom of the racetrack, I think, here pretty soon in the next few laps. And plus, with pit stops coming up too, you got that to contend with as well.
And as we're talking about pit stops here real quick, boys, the pit road entrance here in turn 4 comes up on you quick. And if you're not prepared to stop or prepared to get down right away, you can spin coming onto pit road.
And not only spin, you got the yellow cone violation for unsafe pit entry. You've got speeding that you could potentially do. This pit road may look easy on tape to get to and to slow down for, but when you're going 160 miles an hour like these guys are, you almost got to check up halfway through 3 and 4 just to slow it down and then work your way to the apron, because you got to do most of your braking on the banking.
You
I mean,
do.
yeah, Ryan. And then you kind of get down to the apron, and you're still using the brakes because you're going from 4th to 3rd to 2nd gear, and you got to get down to, wait for it, trying to find it, 50 miles an hour. So it's not a feat. It's not an easy feat here, going from basically 160, 170 to 50.
Well, we just had Schweikart and I think who else pitted on
Here
that?
comes Fury.
Looks like Nelson.
Yeah, Rivera.
Fieri's
Kevin
coming
Stone.
in. Kevin Stone's coming in right here. So, and this is about where I was expecting the pit window might open around lap 40. Yeah, you could go about 50 to 55 laps like we talked about, but if you come in here around lap 40-ish, that's when you're really going to see the guys. All right, let's do the two-stop strategy. Let's see if I can split this thing into thirds and then come in on lap 80. Where you might see some of these guys try to stretch it out to lap 45 to lap 50, so they only can do about one stop.
Now, those guys are gonna need this to stay green, because if they do get a yellow before those guys pit on that other strategy, then that might end their race.
Yeah, and this is what I love about Sim500 and leagues like this, that these races are just long enough, and the fuel and the tires, the way they are, they have to make you think a little bit. Do you want to go for the tire strategy, or do you want to go for the fuel strategy? And sometimes, you get bit by the tire strategy because of the way cautions fall, and sometimes you get bit by the fuel strategy because you don't have enough yellows.
Well,
So it's cool to see.
Well, speaking of something that happened to me last night, I got bit by the fuel strategy last night in my race at Kansas last night in the Gen 4 series.
Yeah, and but here's the thing. At the end of the day, if you follow the leader, what are you going to do, AJ?
You're going to stay right where you are.
Follow the leader, that's right. So you got to try something. And that's where I give you and Dalton credit last night when you guys were running, because, you can't just sit there and try the strategy that the leader's on, because if you do, you're going to just stay where you are. So you got to be able to change it up a little bit.
And right now, those four drivers, Swinehart, Rivera, Fury, and Stone, are just about 2 seconds faster than everybody on the racetrack. Here comes Tyler Dalton and Wesley Donaldson.
Yep, the 19 and the 91, the inversion boys there, going down.
See what you did there? Very clever. Very clever.
And
Nice.
let's see who else. I think that's it. Yeah, Sigmund's going to stay out another lap here.
Jeff Ryan missed pit road. Jeff Ryan was trying to get the pit road, but he missed it.
Yeah, I think we're going to see...
that's better than speeding on it.
The two's going to come in. Well, I mean, even if you miss it, that's still not great either, because you want to be able to hit it if you can. 41, EJ's coming in. We got a lot of takers here this time, boys. I think they were able to see their data too.
Oh, contact! Coleman and Hudson is around, and there goes Jeff Ryan. He's spinning here.
I feel like, Mike, you mentioned this.
I did mention this.
You want to mention
You guys
it
ready
again?
to see it?
I
We're going to go
am.
from the blimp, and here it is. See the 38 of Chad Coleman, the 51 of Joe Hudson.
Yeah, I don't think Joe Hudson was expecting the 38 to come down there, because if you look there, I mean, he's still way up on the racetrack right there. And you definitely want to be aggressive as you can, but there's a fine line, as you see right there, and that fine line was crossed, and that caused Jeff Ryan to get caught up in something that wasn't of his own doing.
Well, that's something.
Leader Seth Body on pit road.
That's something too, guys. When I watched races here live, when I went to these races every single year, we would normally sit in like the turn 4 area so we could see the pit road entrance. And there have been plenty of times where the people that sit there in those stands, we'd point it out and be like, "Oh, that guy missed it," and because it give you the perfect angle for it.
Yep.
Well,
And
Cody,
if you look, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I was talking to our Facebook chat for a second. Cody, John Fowler made it 18 laps and unfortunately retired after that 18 laps.
Yeah, he kind of did a start and park a little bit. But, I mean, you guys have seen this here, and I'm starting to now see this as I've got these triple sets. Sorry, I got to talk about them. These triple monitors here. The apron versus where pit road entry is, it's kind of buried back in there. It's not really right off the racetrack as you would see it like a Homestead or in Atlanta or Texas or places like that. You really kind of have to pay attention to what you're doing and when you come off the racetrack to get to pit road. And it's easily missed, like you were saying there, Mike. You could easily miss the entry to pit road at this racetrack.
Oh man, Bobby Wetzel, the only driver to not come down pit road, is being passed left and right, and like he is stopped.
Hey, it looks like he's coming to pit road now.
Yeah, I would be too after the amount of drivers passing him and in the way of them passing him. That had to be scary. But Swinehart's going to take over the lead here, and he's got a 1.5 second gap to Nelson Rivera. It's a little strategy pull there. Both of them pit on lap 39. Tyler Dalton on 44. EJ O'Rourke on 45. Same as Mike Kelly. Robert Fieri on 40. So, very much different strategies across the board through the field, Gary. How is that, do you think, going to play out for some of the drivers?
It's going to be interesting, to say the least. Some of these guys that are trying to make it to 50, I think they're kind of, you kind of made your bed and now you're laying in it, so to speak. I mean, you're stuck with it right now. So, you know, you just got to.
We got was 47 laps, and that's Hamish Gallagher.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and it seems like everybody's wanting to go with the two-stop strategy. At this rate of the race and where we are, I don't blame them. You got to run what you got to run, and you know, with the guys on new tires being, you know, over 2 seconds faster at this point, you gotta take the lap time into effect. Otherwise, if you do try to stay out, you could get lapped by staying out. So you got to pick your poison. But I think what I was
Robert Fieri's hard into the wall. Head on into the wall. He got right hooked.
Ooh, his truck is all messed up. Let's take a look at this, AJ.
Here it is.
Ooh, was that net code?
I don't know.
Was it net code, boys? Take a look at that real quick. Let's take a look at that beautiful chopper cam here. I think that was net code, guys. Yeah, it was net code, but then it kind of sent him around with the contact anyways.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think they were gonna touch either way, but
yeah. That was hard.
No, Brian doesn't make that.
Well, I think
we see this stuff here, guys. Brian normally doesn't make that mistake. And,
well, I think he was he trying to give room to Doug? Was that Doug right there that they were catching?
That was Doug Sigmund ahead of him there in the 04. I think what he was just trying to do is see if he could squeeze in behind the 77 of Robert there, and just misjudged it just by mere inches.
Well, that's basically going to end the 77 of Robert Fieri's night. Playoff driver. He's going to have to go to our next race, which currently looking at it, I think it's Dover. It is Dover, and he's really going to have a really good night.
Yeah, he's going to have a good night, and we're going to get a lucky dog candidate here. It's going to be Doug Sigmund. Everybody, it appears to me, is going to be on the lead lap, so Doug going to get back on the lead lap here with the Aaron's lucky dog. Shameless plug. And sorry, not sponsored. Anyways, he's gonna come back around, get his lap back, and then be able to pit with everybody else and be back on the lead lap, and that will put 24 trucks on the lead lap, and 24 out of the 26 trucks are still running. We'll see if Robert decides to come out and get as many points as he can, but at this point, with the lack of attrition, you might be better off just saying I'll see you in Dover next week.
Yeah, I'm really shocked at that. We normally don't see Macklin make a mistake like that. He's usually one of the cleanest drivers in the field normally.
And I think, you know, we say that about 3/4 of this field that don't make mistakes like that. And when they happen, you realize, okay, you are human. You're not just an alien that's really, really fast around this racetrack. Like, everybody does make mistakes there every once in a while. And, yeah, the comment there in the chat, sorry for the trouble or target on your back there, 77. I don't know.
Yeah, well, he said earlier, nice 77, good strategy.
Oh, I see what you did there, and then yep, you jinxed him. I'm just kidding. You didn't jinx him.
No, we do it all the time.
Yes, we do it all the time.
We really do.
Talk about it. Hey, that guy's doing great. Boom, out of the race.
Oh.
Damn it.
We don't
everybody,
mean to. It just happens.
55 laps here at Chicagoland Speedway for the TranService Truck Series. Thank you to all the sponsors in the description. Thank you to TranService Logistics for sponsoring and being the title sponsor of the Sim500 Truck Series. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we return, it'll be the restart. just around 57-ish laps covered, but we'll be back in a little bit.
Industries across the board utilize fleet trucks on a daily basis, from your local utility company to your grocery store, and many of these companies choose full-service fleet leasing. With a traditional lease, you're responsible for everything after you get the truck, but a full-service lease includes all the maintenance and other services at a set cost. Regardless of the scope or range of your fleet needs, TranService will engineer a fully customized, full-service fleet leasing solution optimized to your requirements. From asset acquisition requiring no capital investment, to the engineering, configuration, and selection of your fleet equipment, to the people, facilities, and equipment to keep your fleet maintained and repaired. TranService gives you everything you need, with advantageous fleet pricing based on our national account status, compliance expertise, inspections, licensing, permitting, personal property taxes, nationwide roadside service. We cover it all for you. Contact us today to learn why leading companies rely on TranService for complete turnkey leasing solutions.
We are back, everybody. That Ford Mustang iRacing official pace car about to make that left-handed turn for safety down pit road. Your front row is John Swinehart and Tyler Dalton O'Rourke. And is that Kelly? That is Mike Kelly. Good for Mike. And here we go. Green again at Chicagoland Speedway. Great launch by Swinehart. That whole inside lane with a good launch. That's going to open up a hole for Mike Kelly to drop down to that inside. And Tyler Dalton going backwards.
Yeah, didn't get the greatest of restarts there. Had a Jeff Gordon restart. But I think it's going to pay off for him here at the exit of 2. He's already back side by side with Mike Kelly. The guy that's really going to have to get through traffic here is going to be Seth Foudy. Been the dominant truck through the first 50 or so laps. Going to have to see how he handles through traffic. Is he going to go forward or is he going to go backward? But you see right there, E.J. O'Rourke leading that lap.
Yeah, this is kind of... We haven't been here yet territory. Seth Foudy's all the way back to 6th place. Before this, he was leading every lap.
Yeah, before this cycle of pit stops and that caution right there, yeah, he'd been up front all night long. So it's going to be interesting now. And I mean, even though he's in 6th, we make it sound like it's a really big deal. But, I mean, clean air, we've seen at these mile and a halves is king. So you got to be able to get up through the traffic here and make some passes. And that's not easy to do here at Chicagoland.
He's looking to the inside of Swinehart. He's got the 81 of Josh Parker right behind him.
Yeah, Josh Parker gave the 15 a hell of a shot, sending Foudy up to the top of the racetrack to keep that momentum up. See if it pays off.
Oh, in the wall.
In the wall there. 91, Wesley Donaldson there.
I think Schweikart got the wall too.
Back quite a bit.
Yeah, it looked like Schweikart got a piece of that wall too.
That battle for the lead here. Mike Kelly's inside of E.J. O'Rourke down the back straightaway.
You gonna clear him?
Ooh, that was close.
Woohoo! That was a close one. Gonna try it again. See if he can clear him through 1 and 2.
And boys, we are halfway.
And he cleared him.
Flags in the air.
That didn't take long, now did it?
To get to halfway?
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
We're cruising right
And
along.
look at Gallagher, guys. Gallagher just slid his way into second spot now, too.
Yep, sliding his way into second. Look at Seth as everything got settled in, got up into that 4th position. Look at Hammis trying to go down low here. Mike Kelly taking it upstairs. They're going to be side by side right here at the exit 2. It seems like right now, I mean, they just restarted, right? But it seems like right now, the bottom lane's the place to be. Looking here at the track temps, it has cooled down. It was 123, 124 degrees at one point. It's now down to 114, which is still hot. But it seems like that 10 degrees is making a little bit of a difference for these guys to be able to run the bottom a little better.
Hamish Gallagher's going to lead that lap as they cross the line, but Gallagher and Kelly still battling for that top spot. And now they're 2 by 2 with Seth Foddy to the inside of EJ O'Rourke.
Call it Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark. And Gallagher cleared him. Gallagher to the lead. Here comes Kelly though on
what a move. Here comes Kelly with the crossover.
On the switchback.
And Hamish led that lap by 22 one-thousandths of a second. Ooh, Seth Fowdy doing a slide job there on the 41 of EJ O'Rourke. Here comes the door opening for Josh Parker. Where did he come from? He likes passing people. Here he is.
Biggest mover of the race, up 18 positions.
Yeah, easy to be the hard charger when you do that every week.
Yeah, guys,
we've seen Josh Parker be really fast. I would imagine if he would start up front like Seth Fowdy did tonight, it'd be him and Seth. I mean, and those really have been the two quickest trucks, it seems like, so far tonight. But Hamish is definitely paying the dividends right now because he's got that clean air on the nose of that Toyota Tundra.
And 40 to the inside of Kelly, P2.
Yeah,
15.
look at that Toyota top three there. I don't think that's a coincidence. Toyota here, for some reason, the Toyotas in general in iRacing. Maybe I'm being a little biased because that's what I drive on iRacing nowadays. But it seems to have the best handling cars and trucks right now, especially with the tire wear. So not shocking to see a Toyota out front leading this race.
Seth Foddy not in the Sim500 TranService Truck Series playoffs, but he's had a really solid year and, always around that top 10 throughout the race. Might not finish there, but he has been a very competitive driver all race, and tonight he is really cruising.
Yeah, this was definitely proven so far to be Hamish's kind of night. But I wouldn't look too far away, though. It seems like these trucks can't pull away as good as the Xfinity cars and the Cup cars here. He's got Seth Fowdy still looking to reel him in.
And Hamish Gallagher pulling away. Looking at about three-quarters of a second lead over Seth Foddy, but back a little further, we mentioned Josh Parker, Mike Kelly, and here comes Scott Simley as well.
Yeah, all these guys right here under a blanket. Some would say a recipe for a three-truck wreck. I say an opportunity for three-wide racing.
Are we at that point yet?
I mean, if you ask those boys in the back at the drop of the green flag, it was time for four-wide racing. They were within the first 10 laps of this thing. So, I mean, as long as you got guys that you could trust to go 3 and 4 wide with, I don't see why not. Why you wouldn't do it, especially if you know you're fast. With these trucks now and how momentum-based they are, if you got to run, you almost have to take it.
It looks like Simley's just playing the game where it's like, okay, is the bottom line going to go? The top line going to go? What's one of you going to go right now?
Yeah, and it's opened the door for Pedro to be involved in this battle as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if you could see Simley try here within the next corner to try and maybe go 3 wide as we see Pedro go 3 wide. He wasn't afraid to do it. Pedro sending it there on the bottom. Look at Scott Simley to take advantage of that on Josh Parker here and go to the outside. Coming off of turn tight. 4. Yeah, 4 wide almost. 3 wide for sure. Still 3 wide as they head down to turn number 1. This is insane racing right here.
Yeah, we're just 71 laps into this race. Just under 50 to go. And we are going to stay 3 wide.
Yeah, now they're down to 2, I think. Yep, now they're back down to 2. This is really the best battling for position on the racetrack here. Look at Tommy Ryan trying to sneak his way in here too.
And here comes Macklin, and look who's on the bottom there,
Here
Mike
comes Simley.
Montesi.
Yeah, Mike Montesi there. Simley just was able to barely get his nose right on the right rear quarter panel there. Josh Parker going into one. He really wanted to take that high side. And then Josh is able to get that momentum off of turn number 2 and take that four wide right here.
Woo. Looked like Mojica kind of backed out of it just a tad.
Yeah, they thought better of it. And that's what's great about Sim500 too. These guys are just so smart, and they know, okay, now we're about to hit a corner. Let me back out of this real quick.
You know, not trying to throw any shade to any other leagues, but it's so nice when drivers actually use their brains when it comes to a race that isn't a sprint.
Right. Yeah. And you know, you get in here to places like this one, and you know, a couple of other leagues that you've broadcasted here in the past. You know, we've seen moments where people use their brain and you know, make the racing work and you know, realize, okay, I'm on lap 74 now out of 120. We got 47 to go. Let me just take my time. We still got probably one more pit stop in this thing. And let me just take my time and work my way up there. But there will come a time at about lap 100, 110, where you're going to see these guys go full send.
Now, Gary, we already got to be talking about when these drivers are going to hit their next pit stop, because within the next 10 laps, they're going to make...
Oh, Pedro.
They'll be able to make it to the end, I'd say around like 85 or so, no problem.
Well, yeah, they could even make it from lap 80 to lap 120 and they're in their windows we talked about earlier before that caution. But I think you're right. Based off of the caution that we had, we might see some guys try to push that out an extra 5 to 10 laps. Probably go about lap 85, lap 90, and they'll for sure be in the pit window after that.
Swinehart was the first driver to jump on pit road. I think it was lap 37. Out of everybody,
lap 37, lap 40,
and he made it out the leader by a good second and a half. So I'd be really, really curious to see if we're gonna have any early takers, as Macklin's gonna move up a spot.
Yeah, and that strategy really didn't pay off for John, so he might be rethinking of when he comes in again. He might play a little more conservative this round and see if he could stay out a little bit and maybe try to gain this track position back that way. So. Gonna be interesting here as these guys are working their chess boards and working some math in their head and seeing when that next pit stop might be a good time to do it.
Well, while you guys were talking about pit stop strategy, Pedro Mojica got one of those Chicagoland stripes on the side of his truck. The right side is pretty caved in there on that truck.
Yeah, and that'll affect your aero a little bit. Luckily, with this damage, you should be able to buff that back out pretty quick under the next stop. But yeah, definitely a big scrape there on that 58. Yeah, look at Hamish. He's been able to pull out to a 2-second lead here, and it's really just been Seth Foudy and everybody else here for second on back.
Yeah, Hamish Gallagher with a 2-second lead on an island all by himself. But Seth Foudy, Tommy Ryan, that's exactly what Gallagher wants to see, are these two trucks battling.
Yeah, he wants to see these guys balance side by side as much as they are, and that'll just help pad his lead a little bit more, as it's now 2 seconds.
Well, and these guys that are battling super hard here for second place, they keep seeing the leader get smaller and smaller and smaller out of their windshield, and they're like, okay, I gotta get up on the wheel and try to get by this guy.
You mentioned that. Let's go to the camera on the back of Gallagher's car. Yeah. You are right with that, Campigio. They're just fading and fading and fading.
And fading fast.
Yeah, about... Wow, looks like 3/10 a lap.
Our boy John is on pit road.
Yeah, and it just seems like Hamish is able to have a really good launch at the exit of the corner. Better than what the rest of these guys are able to do, as we see a lot of those guys hugging that fence. Not hitting it, but getting pretty darn close. Yeah, John Schweikart throwing the kitchen sink at it. He said, you know what? I made my bed, and I'm going to lie in it with the last strategy I did. I'm going to do it again. See what happens with him here. Hamish going to put him a lap down, and the 01 is getting ready to go back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, well, I mentioned him coming down early.
Ooh, here we
And
go.
he did.
3 wide
Right.
for second. 3 wide for second. Parker walked up the racetrack. That allowed Tommy Ryan to get to the inside.
Wesley Donaldson back in 20th was the fastest truck on the track that last lap. Or I'm sorry, that's the best lap of the race. My bad. It still was Hamish by 2/10.
It's okay, Gary. We love you anyway.
It's okay. I don't even know what I'm looking at sometimes.
That's a mood. That's 100% a mood. But single file, second, third, fourth, and fifth right there. Then you got Mike Kelly in sixth. Mike Montesi in seventh. Eighth is Nelson Rivera. Scott Simley in ninth. And Pedro Mojica sitting in that 10th position.
Look
All
at that
basically
move Josh
in a
Parker
line.
put right there to get up into that second spot. Pulled the biggest slide job on Seth Foddy. And now Seth Foddy's under attack for third. Look at that slide that Josh Parker had right there coming out of 2. And I think Seth just bounced it off the fence. Almost took the 99 with him. Business is really starting to pick up here. And we're closing in on that pit window, so it wouldn't shock me if we see some guys start to
Swinehart,
Wendell
the
in.
fastest lap of the race.
Yeah.
31:22.
Yep, 31:22. That is the fastest lap of the session from what I could see. So,
Wow.
and his last lap was a 31:24. So, he's definitely got the speed in it. He just needs it to go green, at least get back on the lead lap, and then at that point, whatever happens, happens.
Well, there's still your race leader. 2.5 second lead over Josh Parker in second. Josh on a little bit of an island of his own, but Tommy Ryan, good for that 99, up 10 positions,
Good point.
sitting in third, and right behind him, 2 drivers, Seth Foddy and Brian Macklin. They were just side by side. Oh, they're still side by side, and here comes the 15 down pit road.
Yeah, he knows he's falling off a little bit. He's going to come on in and pit. Same with Hamish. Same with Mike Montesi, Wes Donaldson, and others. It's going to be pretty busy here.
Wow. Bad blood, Taylor Swift, Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes.
It's like everywhere you go, you see Taylor Swift everywhere recently.
No
I
kidding.
don't
I
want to talk about
can't
it.
even watch a football game.
Nope.
I don't want to talk about it. Looks like Tyler Dalton might be coming into the pits here as well. Be on the lookout for that 19 here in the next little bit, maybe. Here comes the 41. 75, the faster pastor. Yeah, looks like everybody's on pit road here.
And Josh Parker is taking the lead.
Yep, he took the lead when Hamish came in. He was running in second, so taking the lead over, up 21 spots since the start of this thing. I believe that is the hardest charger.
And these guys are going to stay out a little bit longer here.
Yep, looks like 74 is signaling pitting in, and same with the 9 there of Bobby Wetzel. 74 coming down pit lane.
Still Josh Parker, Tommy Ryan, Brian Macklin, your top 3. These drivers still have to pit one more time. The window is open to making it to the end with just over 30 laps to go.
Yep, and it's going to be interesting. No mistakes, as I stress to my drivers all the time over at Hutch Sport Racing. No mistakes on the money stop. No speeding, no hitting the commitment line, no unsafe pit entry, no unsafe pit exit, no speeding in or out, no missing your box and sliding the tires. You have to be flawless.
Oh, we got a bunch of
for
people
the
coming
stop.
up
We got a
here.
bunch of trucks coming in. Looks like the 81, 99, and the 30. 81 had a Jump on the brakes there to hit pit speed and almost got ran over by the 99. Josh going to make it into his stall pretty nice there. A lot of takers on pit road here, guys. A lot of feeding.
And Mike Kelly, your race leader, and Hamish Gallagher just getting by him.
Yep, Hamish going to put himself back on the lead lap. Here comes the 2 to pit road. 22 is going to inherit the lead. Nelson Rivera back out front. He's had a pretty quiet night, but was running top 5 pretty early on. Not so much the second run here, so hoping maybe he can leaps a few guys here as he won last week at Talladega.
And this is all points based right now. All these drivers staying out, getting that extra point for leading that lap. If we didn't have that, I would be 100% confident in saying they would have basically all pit together. And here comes Joe Hudson. The 51. Wow, that's an old paint scheme. Phoenix Racing. I thought that was a cup car, not a truck.
James Finch sponsored in the trucks. I don't think he ever actually ran a truck team operation, though. He was a Cup and Xfinity team for a long time. But I want to say he sponsored Bill Lester in trucks in the 15 for Billy Blue. And he might have even sponsored Kyle Busch at one point. Yeah,
we know he sponsored his brother Kurt Busch.
Well, he drove for... Kurt Busch drove for James Finch, so...
He did.
But, yeah, James Finch has been in NASCAR for a long time, and he might be making a comeback here. Wouldn't shock me. He's got his son driving in ARCA and late models right now, so we might see a return of Phoenix Racing here in the next couple of years.
Nice. Now, if we got Rob Niedermeyer watching in the chat, Brian Wertman just put a 31:19 on the board.
Woo,
the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah,
go
fastest
get him,
lap of the
Brian.
race goes to Brian there. Finishing 3rd last week at Talladega. Not quite having the night he wanted tonight, but still solid nonetheless.
So Gary,
what do you spots since the start? So
Gary, what do you think about the strategy right now with Doug and Nelson? Because these two are the only two that have not pitted yet.
they need a caution. If they get a caution, they look like the smartest people in the room. But, however, they would fall back to about 13th or so. We know these guys will pit. They're kind of in a weird spot. I think if I was Nelson and Doug, I'd probably be coming in here within the next lap or two, because you're seeing all these guys getting right by you now that have the newer tires.
Oh!
And as we see that,
Rivera
Nelson
got
gets
split
split
there.
in the middle there. So yeah, if I'm Nelson, I'm looking to come in probably here within the next lap or two.
Well, you think about it too.
He's just so much slower through the corner, as you guys see, just getting ran down on the straightaway right here.
Well,
At what point is this a hazard to everybody else?
Yeah, well, not just a hazard to everybody else, but just a hazard to yourself. You could run the risk of destroying your truck and ending your race here, so
Yeah, but with
something you got to consider.
it is you have to consider. But with him winning last week at Talladega and being a good amount above the cut line, I could see why he's doing this strategy too.
Oh yeah, you could definitely see both sides on it, because at this point he's going for wins and not necessarily the points. So, but there's already 19 trucks back on the lead lap. I think you waiting on a caution and waiting that out, is those chances are basically over. You got to come in and pit.
Oh, here, turn 4 sideways. Bobby Wetzel.
Well,
he
maybe,
was
maybe you want to stay out a little longer.
He was sideways off turn 4, and I thought that was going to be the caution that Nelson wanted.
Would have happened right in front of him.
Let's take a gander here. Ooh.
Just the arrow.
Just a little arrow and a little bit of fresh tires there. That'll make you loose. And on top of that, with the hot racetrack
There's Nelson
too.
Rivera.
Track temp has gone down. It's down to 119 now, so still hot and slick in hindsight. Looks like we are getting a little bit of cloud cover.
Rivera's still out, and so is Doug Sigmund.
These guys need a caution.
Absolutely.
But I think if you get the caution now, everybody's going to pit because we ran so many laps at this point. So, and they still have another set of tires laying in the pits, so it should be good to go.
But if we do get that caution, everybody coming down, grabbing tires, I don't know about fuel, that would just make Nelson Rivera look like a genius. And same thing with Doug Sigmund.
Oh, for sure.
Boy, would I love to be that genius.
Real
Usually the
men
opposite
of
happens.
genius. I hope somebody caught on to that and started laughing a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted to press it. I was like, they wouldn't hear it anyway.
Yeah, they wouldn't hear it. And I can't press it either because, they wouldn't hear it. Pointless.
Nelson Rivera, right now, you're a leader, and here comes Doug Sigmund.
Yeah, Doug is saying, I fold. I'm coming in to get tires.
And Hamish Gallagher's going to take over that second place position.
Sure is, and I think you're going to see he run lower on the straightaway that last time by. He is staying out again, Nelson is. He's crazy. He is absolutely crazy.
He's wanting that yellow.
He is banking on that yellow. He's basically got everybody back on the lead lap now. I mean, here comes Brian Wertman to get back on the lead lap here probably. I don't get it. Help me understand, guys. I don't understand. I don't know if he thinks he could make it. He could make it off fuel to the end, so maybe he's trying to bank on a little bit of a fuel strategy call here.
That would be insane. Let's jump on board with that 22 to see if he's doing any fuel saving. No, not really, not at all.
Yeah, not from what I could really hear. I mean, he's getting out of the gas, but it's just enough to make the corner.
And he's still got a 15-second lead right now, too.
Yeah, but
That'll disappear the minute he touches pit road.
it's interesting. We'll just leave it at that. 15-second lead. I just don't know if that's going to hold up for 17 laps.
If he can actually make it, because he did last pit on 53 on that caution.
He's going to look like a genius if this pays off. I'll tell you that much.
Now,
Oh, no, here he comes. Here he comes. He said,
Oh,
"Screw
right
it,
when
I'm
we were
coming in."
right when we were talking about if he was going to make it.
There we go.
that should
All right,
basically
now let's
relegate
talk
him
about
all the way to
lead.
23rd.
Now, well, he is going to be faster than the rest of these guys, so he might be able to recover for maybe a... Well, he just came out of pit road, and that was fast. How fast is that pit stop there for 22?
I still have him. He just got into his box.
He just got into his box. Sorry about that.
I just had to go click the live button because for some reason I thought I was still on replay.
His pit was 13.6, so he got full service there.
And he's going to be in that 23rd position. Don't know if he's going to go a lap down, but he's going to have the freshest tires by quite a bit.
Yeah, he's going to have the freshest tires. He's going to stay on this lead lap here. So he's going to be trying to run down Wertman and Livingston. He might be able to get a top 15 out of this. I just can't see him getting the win or anything, but you could definitely see him pulling a top 20 out of this.
Now, if a caution were to come out, he'd be really happy too, because he stayed on that lead lap.
Yep, exactly. He was able to stay on the lead lap, not lose anything, and like you said, be happy that way.
Brian Macklin in third, Tommy Ryan in fourth. Closest battle of anybody we have on the racetrack. But as I say that, Mike Kelly and E.J. O'Rourke.
Yep, Seth Foddy all right here in this picture here.
As they're really running tight against each other as they come off of turn 4.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got 12 laps to go. It's time to go. It's time to get after it, get up on the wheel. And, we haven't really talked about it much, but there's a very fine line of running the apron like that during a race. And we just saw Seth do it right there, Mike. You can gain a lot of time by taking the apron down there at the start-finish line and coming back up onto the track, because you get that momentum from the banking itself, but it can get pretty risky and pretty slippery down there too.
Yes, it can, because if you hit the transition at the wrong point, that can suck your truck or car right around.
Suck it right around and give you all the suck that you don't want.
That's what we call. That's a DW throwback, and call it the suck.
I was here in Scott Raymer the other day. We were practicing at Daytona, running in AI traffic with the GT car, saying, "Give me the suck."
Was that actually a DW thing?
It was. They did it in preseason testing at Daytona, I think 2013.
That doesn't surprise me with DW.
Yeah. I don't
also, wouldn't surprise me if you told me it was Larry Mack too.
Yeah.
Coleman and Simley. Simley around the outside is going to take that position.
Yeah, here comes Coleman. He's not letting them take it that easy.
Yeah, he's fighting. Both of them did pit on the same lap on 89.
Yeah, they're both pitting on the same lap, and they're trying to reel in Joey Gattina to take away his top 10 run that he has going here.
I could just imagine hearing Joey, "Stay away, boys. Stay back there. Don't do it. You don't need to pass me."
Let me have my top 10, dang it.
Seth Faudy, who was very strong in the first part of this race, has really struggled back in the pack as Tennessee's going to get loose out of 4.
Hang on there, Mike.
From one mic to another. Hang on to your truck. Yeah, what's really tough that we really haven't talked about is that entry into 1. There's a lot of bumps right there, and you see a lot of patches right there at the entrance to turn 1. It can really, it really bobbles with your car or your truck, whichever vehicle you're in, and can really upset the handling going into 1. So you really got to manage that too as you go into 1, because that can really send your vehicle sideways.
We're already 8 laps to go. This race has only been going on for about an hour, 5-ish minutes. So we really put them up and put them down. Hamish Gallagher, currently your race leader, followed by Josh Parker, Brian Macklin, Tommy Ryan, and Mike Kelly, your top 5 with just 8 to go. Come to 7 to go. Can Parker get there? Putting on a couple good laps after good laps. But checking on that 22 and Nelson Rivera made it back to 20th.
Yeah, like I said, might be able to pull a top 20 out of it. He's definitely not done though. He's got Joe Hudson. He's running down pretty quick. He might get up to like 18th, maybe 17th there to get up to Kevin Stone, but not a whole lot of time. He's going to run out of it, that's for sure, as we're coming to 5 to go here.
What's going to help him is his race at Talladega last week where he won. It also helped that Brian Wortman finished 3rd, a non-playoff driver.
Yep, that's really going to help him. And I think, didn't second place, wasn't he a non-playoff guy? I can't remember who.
No, Simley was second, and Simley's in the playoffs.
Right. That's right.
Speaking of Simley, we're watching him right now battle with Chad Coleman.
He's been battling Chad Coleman for like the last 30 laps.
I know. Do you ever get tired of just battling somebody?
Yes. At least I do. It's just like, come on,
at this
either
point,
you go or I go. Take your pick.
Exactly. I don't care. Just stop. But Josh Parker, just about 6/10 now.
Yep, slowly reeling in Hamish.
might run out of time, but should be getting a tow from him.
Yeah, he's definitely in the suck.
Don't look now, but Macklin's starting to catch those guys too a little bit.
Macklin's lurking in third there. Yep, and he's in the draft there for that 81. So as long as the 81 and the 30 don't get side by side, they should run Hamish down pretty quick. Which I'm seeing here. I don't know.
Parker loose out of 4.
I mean, he may have been loose, but he reeled in another 10th. So he's right there on him.
3 to go.
I
don't know if he
haven't
can
seen
get
a
there.
last lap pass at Chicagoland for the win. I mean, Kyle Larson tried it and failed.
No,
So
That was great
dumped.
with him and Kyle.
Yeah, he got dumped by Kyle in 3 and 4 though.
Kyle and Kyle show, you know who I'm pulling for. It ain't Kyle Busch, I tell you that.
Coming to 2 to go.
Dual popsicle sticks up in the air from Barney the Flag Man.
Caution. Just kidding.
Oh, I was like, where?
On the track, no.
You had me. You had
I
me.
did.
there.
I know I did. Wouldn't
Proud
that
of
be?
yourself.
Wouldn't that be funny? That'd be the agent of chaos there for old TJ.
Leave that on Mondays.
Josh is gonna have a good chance here on this last lap.
He's in a really good spot. I mean, he's right there, but I don't think he's going to have enough time. White flag in the air. Sponsored by
The
Wrestling
Wrestling
with
with Nerds podcast. I love getting spam on Twitch.
Isn't that great? Yeah, I just saw that. It's beautiful. Anyway, coming off of turn 2 for the final time. Josh is really going to have to send it in there. Just send it on the high side and hope it sticks. Pull Ross Chastain. He ain't going to get there, though. Coming off of turn 4, final time, Hamish Gallagher going to take the win in good old Chicagoland. Josh Parker
Great.
second, and
Ooh, okay, Tokyo Drift.
Little drifty
Nice.
drifty there.
That's some Tokyo Drift type.
And Brad Macklin go finish third, so good run by
Great rebound.
great rebound there by Macklin, able to get up into that third spot and seal a podium for himself and a good points night.
Nelson Rivera got to 13th.
Oh, top 15. That's what Gary said.
And there you go.
Wow.
I don't know how he did it, but he'll take that for sure.
I mean, with all the drivers he passed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 drivers were in the playoffs.
Yeah. So he did a really good job right there.
All right, let's get ready for some interviews to talk to our podium finishers. But overall, thank you everybody for tuning in to All Star 15 TV. Whether it was Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, hit that like, follow, or subscribe button. We appreciate all of you for being around and coming and talking with us in the chat when it's not, Twitch spam. But I'll start it off, boys. We're going to talk to P number 3. It's going to be Brian Macklin. Brian, it's AJ, Gary, and Mike in the booth. You got a copy, my friend?
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Hey, what a great rebound from that incident you had with I think, Robert Fieri. Very unfortunate there, but, for you to come home third, good for your playoff future, it looks like.
Yeah, I gotta apologize to Robert. I just completely messed up there. We were catching the lap truck, and I was trying to lift and get in behind him, and I just misjudged where the nose of my truck was at from where he was at, and I just clipped him in the right rear. And I hate it because it messed up a green flag run. I think it messed up our strategy to. I know we finished third, but I think we had a shot at winning with the race staying green. But it is what it is. We'll take the third place finish, take the points, especially after the rough finish last week, and get ready for Dover.
Called it. I told y'all. I told y'all it wasn't on purpose.
You definitely called it. Well, obviously it wasn't on purpose. But Brian, overall, great race. We're heading to Dover next week. What are you looking forward to when we hit the Dover Downs International Speedway over there?
Well, I'm looking forward to the fact that it's only 10 minutes from my house, so that's kind of nice. Now, Dover is traditionally been my worst track, so we're going to have to work really hard to try to figure out how to be good on the long run. I can hot lap there like anybody, but put 10, 15, 20 laps together, I'm terrible. So I'm going to just try to put together something and hopefully just get a top 10 finish and keep the points and get ready for the next round.
All right, brother. Any sponsors that you want to plug before we let you go here tonight?
Yeah, as always, got to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Got to thank TranService for being the title sponsor of the series here and all the other sponsors at Sim500. Got to thank Scott Stenzel and Personal Comfort for being my sponsor on the Monday night series, and the American Lung Association, and of course all of our men and women that keep us safe around the world. So thanks to all of them, and yeah, good luck, guys.
All right, brother. Well, congratulations again, and hopefully we talk to you at Dover next week.
Yeah, if you're talking to me at Dover, it's probably not going to be a good interview.
Oh, boy. See you later, Brian.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, Gary, it's your turn to talk with our second place finisher, Josh Parker.
All right, Josh Parker. We're down here on pit road with Josh. Hard charger again, but one spot short. Talk about your run here tonight at Chicagoland, sir.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I am sweating. That was tough. My only chance to get Hamish was to run deeper. I wanted to go 5-6 laps deeper to try to get him on the long run, and it paid off. I got closer than I was before, but once I got to his dirty air, I just didn't have enough tire left.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you definitely were spoiling the party, chasing them trophies with them playoff guys. So next week, Dover, Delaware, Dover Motor Speedway. Talk about your chances there. Brian says he's not very good, but how do you feel about Dover?
Dover's big. I'm a big fan of Dover. Always run good there. Yeah, it's a fun track, so I'm excited for it. I'll probably start in the back again, but we'll see.
All right. Well, any shout outs, thank yous, love yous you want to give to anybody as we let you go celebrate P2?
Yeah, you guys doing the broadcast, Dad, Sim500, everyone at Team Name, Chad, Jeff, Pedro, Tommy, Beasley, all of them. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll let you go celebrate P2 here, Josh, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, we do have the winner.
Yeah, he looks like he's in Discord.
You ready, Mike? Here you
Yes.
go. It's our winner, Hamish Gallagher.
Hamish, it's Mike, Gary, and AJ in the booth. You got us?
Man, I sure do, boys. How you doing?
Man, what a race by you tonight. Getting the win here tonight at Chicagoland. Talk about your race.
Man, I'm absolutely pumped. It's so hard to win these races. Competition's so good, but I really love Chicago. Chicagoland's probably one of the best tracks for this truck. Like, you can run any line you want at any point. Doesn't matter. Like, the tires they fade different. Like, sometimes it gets a bit tight, then it loosens up again, then it tightens up again. So, man, I had this track circled definitely on the calendar, and yeah, everything just came together tonight. So, yeah, man, I'm pumped as
Yeah, you got to be pumped after getting a win like that at Chicagoland. It's such a great track. As we look forward to next week at Dover, you entered tonight plus one above the cut line, it looks like. But with this win, that's going to really jump you forward up in the standings as we go to Dover next week. Give me your thoughts about Dover as we head there.
I really like Dover, but man, it's sort of like a slightly bigger Bristol, so anything can happen and easily get wiped out in a crash or something there. So have a little bit of a buffer, definitely be good.
Exactly. Yeah. Before we let you get out here to celebrate your win tonight, is there anybody you'd like to thank? Family, friends, sponsors?
Yep. Just want to big thanks to my team, Mitch Motorsports, just Joey and all the other Sim500 admin. I really love running this league, and just everyone who takes part. Like, we've had a really good run these last even 4, 5, 6 weeks. Like, only had one caution every race, something like that, and really good racing, close, hard racing. So just big thanks to everyone who turns up, and you three boys for doing the broadcast.
For sure, man. We'll let you get out of here on that note. Congratulations again on your win, and we hopefully will talk to you next week in Dover.
Yes, thanks, guys.
All right, that was our winner here tonight from Chicagoland Speedway, Hamish Gallagher. Mike, we'll start with you. What's your overall thought of the race tonight?
Well, guys, I think Chicagoland delivered like it has been delivering here over the last couple weeks here in the sim racing world. So very excited to see the boys here at the Sim500 TranService Truck Series put on a great show. A lot of great racing, a lot of comers and goers. I think, Chicagoland delivered, and I'm looking forward to seeing next week in Dover as the elimination race. And if we can do, like we did earlier this year, a caution-free race at Dover.
All right, Gary, let's off to you, my friend.
Yeah, great racing here tonight once again in the Sim500, and as Mike was saying, hopefully this leads to more good racing at Dover next week. We did go caution free there earlier this season, so hopefully it's a similar race to what we saw tonight, and see who ultimately moves on here in the playoffs here.
Yeah, that's the biggest part, everybody. Next week is an elimination race for the Sim500 TranService Truck Series, and I think the only two people that might be okay could be Hamish Gallagher, who definitely needed the win tonight, so that should pole vault him over the cut line. But also the rebound of Nelson Rivera. He might be one of the only drivers that could be considered safe so far. But with a wonderful race tonight, we look forward to Dover next week.
We got a correction here. I was just looking at the website. Next week is not an elimination race. We go to Charlotte on the 8th of November. That is the cutoff race to the top 10. So.
Oh, okay. I thought next week was.
You're good.
My apologies, everybody.
I was going by what you said, and then I just happened to look. So. Not next week. All right. Week after. But hey, nonetheless, looking forward to Dover next week.
It's still important. It's still important to pad your, pad your stats, pad your numbers before we even take the track at Charlotte in 2 weeks. But we got Dover next week, everybody. Same time, same place. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Check out all our sponsors in the description. If you want some cool All-Star 15 TV, Hutchboard Racing, or Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast merch, go check that out. It's in the description as well. All the proceeds go back to the channel. But for the next couple days, while we're still in October, if you buy any of the pink stuff, all those proceeds do go to the Susan G. Komen Fund for breast cancer awareness. Please, everybody, thank you for supporting us and anything we do. We'll see you on the next broadcast. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Industries across the board utilize fleet trucks on a daily basis, from your local utility company to your grocery store. And many of these companies choose full-service fleet leasing. With a traditional lease, you're responsible for everything after you get the truck. But a full-service lease includes all the maintenance and other services at a set cost. Regardless of the scope or range of your fleet needs, TranService will engineer a fully customized, full-service fleet leasing solution optimized to your requirements. From asset acquisition requiring no capital investment, to the engineering, configuration, and selection of your fleet equipment, to the people, facilities, and equipment to keep your fleet maintained and repaired. TranService gives you everything you need, with advantageous fleet pricing based on our national account status, compliance expertise, inspections, licensing, permitting, personal property taxes, nationwide roadside service. We cover it all for you. Contact us today to learn why leading companies rely on TranService for complete turnkey leasing solutions.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things